Hello, beautiful souls. Today, we will be discussing the concept of reality, transurfing, an esoteric teaching that provides a fresh perspective on shaping physical reality and manifesting desires. The teachings are derived from Vadim Z's book series Reality Transurfing, which has become an iconic work of esoteric philosophy in Russian-speaking countries. In a nutshell, transurfing is a model that teaches you how to navigate and control reality by perceiving it in a certain way. However, it's important to understand that transurfing is not a one-size-fits-all solution to all problems. According to Zealand, we live in a world of consciousness and infinite versions of reality exist simultaneously. The version of reality you experience is determined by the way you think and feel about your experiences. Therefore, consciously choosing the way you think and feel allows you to control which version of reality you live in. In this video, we will discuss Z's ideas in two sections. First, we will explain how different versions of reality take physical form, why you tend to remain in a single version of reality, and why it can be challenging to switch to a more desired version. In the second section, we will explore Zealand's methods for controlling which version of reality you want to live in. Z argues that what you think of as your reality is just one version of reality. Among many, according to him, we live in a world of consciousness in which infinite alternative realities simultaneously exist. These realities fall into two categories. Reality. Number 1, physical materialized realities that you can perceive with your five senses. Reality. Number 2, invisible unmaterialistic realities that lie dormant, waiting to take physical form. In this part, we'll clarify why some realities materialize while others lie dormant. We'll first explain how versions of reality take physical form. Then we'll explore why you tend to remain in the same version of reality and find it difficult to switch to a different, more desired version of reality. Principle 1. Invisible realities require emotional energy to materialize. What separates the physical materialized reality that you can sense from the invisible unmaterialized realities you can't sense? According to Zealand, it's emotional energy. He explains that every conscious being transmits emotional energy through their thoughts and feelings. This energy contributes to the physical materialization of reality. This is a process with three distinct parts. Part 1, you transmit emotional energy. Every thought and feeling you have emits emotional energy into the universe of consciousness, which contains infinite versions of reality. This emotional energy has a frequency that corresponds to the emotional content of your thoughts and feelings. When you have anxious thoughts, for example, you transmit anxious emotional energy into this realm of consciousness. Part 2, your emotional energy feeds the reality, matching your energy's frequency. Each version of reality in the world of consciousness has a distinct frequency. When your emotional energy aligns with and nourishes the unique frequency of a version of reality, it can manifest in physical form. For instance, there exists a version of reality where the very thing that makes you feel anxious is present. The more anxious energy you emit, the more probable it is for this reality to come to fruition. Part 3, your experiences reflect your emotional energy. What you identify as your reality is simply a reflection of your emotional energy. According to Zealand, every individual transmits emotional energy into the world of consciousness, causing different versions of reality to materialize. The physical world we live in reflects all of these different materialized realities. However, while you might be aware of these materialized realities, you can only experience the version of reality that matches the emotional energy you personally transmit. For example, you work at a job you hate, live paycheck to paycheck, and often worry about your finances, even though you're aware that there are billionaires in the world living luxurious lifestyles. You don't get to experience what it's like to be wealthy because your reality only reflects your worries about money. Why is it that you can be aware of other realities but not experience them? According to Deepak Chopra, it's because your motivations don't align with these other realities. Similar to Zealand, Chopra argues that all your experiences reflect your thoughts and feelings. He explains that your entire reality springs from an invisible spiritual world of consciousness. This invisible realm pulses with thought energy, the energy of the trillions of thoughts that ever existed and are yet to exist. The same thought energy that permeates everything in the universe also flows through you. Each time you think or feel, you shape the nature of the thought energy that surrounds you and flows through you, thereby contributing to the creation of your reality. Chopra explains that the motivations behind your thoughts and emotions shape your perspective on the possibility of experiencing other realities. Essentially, your motivations can be classified into two parts. One, where you're directing your thought energy. What you give your attention to directs your thought energy to specific areas of your life. For example, you think about money, causing thought energy to flow to your finances. 2. Why you're directing your thought energy. Your reasons for thinking about something define the content of your thought energy and create life experiences that reflect those reasons. For example, you're thinking about money because you're worried about being poor. This fear shapes the content of your thought energy and creates life experiences that reflect and reinforce your financial insecurities. Therefore, Chopra argues that you can transform your experiences by paying attention to what you think and why you think about it. For example, you're more likely to experience wealth if you change your motivation for thinking about money from fear of poverty to enthusiasm about being rich, since your version of reality simply reflects your emotional energy. Why aren't you jumping between different realities every time your thoughts and feelings change? Zealand explains that you tend to remain in a single version of reality for two reasons. Number 1, you habitually transmit the same frequency. Number 2, realities require consistent emotional energy to materialize. Let's explore each of these two reasons in more detail. Reason 1, you habitually transmit the same frequency. Zealand explains that although the content of your thoughts and feelings often fluctuates, you're still predominantly thinking about and reacting emotionally to what happens in your version of reality, producing energy at the same frequency as your reality. This means that you're continually feeding your version of reality, which is why it continues to materialize. For example, you don't have enough money and feel bad every time you see something you can't afford. As a result, you transmit emotional energy that matches and therefore sustains your poor version of reality. Reason 2, realities require consistent emotional energy to materialize. According to Zealand, even if your emotional energy occasionally matches the frequency of a different reality, that reality won't instantly materialize for you. This is because realities require a consistent stream of emotional energy to fuel the materialization process. Now that you understand how your emotional energy feeds a specific version of reality, let's explore another side to this energy exchange that Zealand warns about. When you're not conscious of the frequency you're transmitting, you can inadvertently sustain a reality that you don't want. This can become a problem because, as Zealand explains, the more emotional energy a version of reality accumulates, the stronger and more self-sustaining it becomes. It sustains its physical form by creating circumstances that cause you to emit its specific frequency. That way, it can siphon your energy. And in turn, the more you react to this version of reality circumstances, the more emotional energy you feed it, thus maintaining and further strengthening this reality's physical form. For example, a poor version of reality creates circumstances such as job loss, emergency medical expenses, and rising insurance rates to keep you focused on your lack of wealth. Understanding how your version of reality can consume your emotional energy can be easier by reflecting on how frequently you react to your circumstances or become distracted. Each time you react or get distracted, you are giving away control of your attention and energy to your surroundings. For example, you want to focus your attention on a creative task, but your phone's ringing. Reacting to your phone results in an unnecessarily long conversation. This distraction steals your energy and prevents you from focusing on the creative task. Neil Pazza, an author who wrote The Happiness Equation, suggests that you can take control of your attention and preserve your energy by focusing only on things that increase your happiness or help you achieve your goals. This involves eliminating the trivial tasks and decisions that currently waste your energy. Achieve this by automating regular tasks, removing unnecessary decisions, and limiting distractions. According to Zealand, when your reality pulls you into its frequency, you waste energy reacting to your circumstances. This leaves you with insufficient energy to become aware of and focus on your unique needs. In other words, you unconsciously focus on sustaining the reality you already live in, instead of focusing on the version of reality you want to live in. We've just discussed how you're continually transmitting emotional energy at a frequency that sustains your version of reality. We'll now explore Zealand's advice for controlling which version of reality you live in. We'll cover his advice in 2 steps. Step 1. Reclaim your emotional energy. Step 2. Redirect your emotional energy. The first step toward changing your version of reality is to reclaim your emotional energy. This involves withdrawing your attention from unwanted aspects of your current reality so that you have more energy to direct toward your ideal version of reality. If you want to change your version of reality, it's probably because you are facing circumstances that you wish to avoid. You believe that a different version of reality will be free from these unwanted things. However, according to Zealand, all unwanted circumstances arise from a reality's attempt to drain your emotional energy by creating problems and concerns that justify intense emotional reactions to them. As we have discussed before, every time you focus on such circumstances, you waste your emotional energy in maintaining these unwanted aspects of reality. For example, you don't want to feel frustrated with your children. However, your version of reality keeps creating unwanted circumstances that justify your perpetual frustration with them. For instance, your children repeatedly lie to you or don't do their homework so that it can siphon your emotional energy and remain in physical form. On the other hand, when you intentionally ignore unwanted circumstances, you starve them of sustenance, weaken their influence over you, and reclaim the emotional energy that they've been siphoning from you. For example, each time your children don't do their homework, you choose not to give in to frustration. This starves these unwanted circumstances of the emotional energy they need to manifest in your reality. How can you intentionally ignore unwanted circumstances? Zealand claims that observing your thoughts and emotions helps you weaken unwanted circumstances and reclaim your emotional energy in 2 ways. First, it helps you understand why you're experiencing your version of reality instead of the version of reality that you want. Second, it breaks the feedback loop that perpetuates your current version of reality. Let's further explore the 2 benefits of observing your thoughts and emotions. Benefit 1. Observing yourself helps you understand your reality. According to Zealand, the first benefit of observing your thoughts and emotions is that it helps you understand why you're experiencing your version of reality. It does this by revealing how participating in your version of reality creates a feedback loop that perpetuates this reality. For example, an experience occurs in your version of reality that draws your attention. For example, you receive a job rejection because you're thinking about what's happening. You transmit emotional energy that matches this specific experience. You think about how unfair life is and feel like a failure. This emotional energy is reflected back to you in the form of similar experiences. Since self-pity dominates your frequency, your version of reality creates more self-pitying experiences. For example, you lose your keys and receive additional job rejections. You then think about these similar experiences, and so on. Benefit 2. Observing yourself breaks the feedback loop. Zealand argues that the second benefit of observing your thoughts and emotions is that it helps you remain emotionally detached from unwanted circumstances. This breaks the feedback loop that perpetuates this reality and makes you less susceptible to wasting your energy on what you don't want. For example, you receive a job rejection. You remain detached, simply observing your thoughts and feelings about the rejection because you don't get emotionally involved in the rejection. You preserve your energy and prevent your emotional energy from perpetuating similar experiences. Once you've practiced reclaiming your emotional energy from unwanted circumstances, practice the second step toward changing your version of reality. Redirect your emotional energy to feed your ideal version of reality. Zealand argues that since your version of reality simply reflects your emotional energy, you can control which version of reality gets reflected back to you by matching your emotional energy with that reality. He suggests 3 methods for redirecting your emotional energy to achieve this. Number 1. Identify what you want. Number 2. Practice living in your ideal version of reality. Number 3. Transmit only positive emotional energy. Let's explore each of these 3 methods. In detail, method 1. Identify what you want. The first method for redirecting your emotional energy involves identifying what you want to experience. This will help you create a clear vision of your ideal version of reality. Zealand offers advice for identifying what you want to experience. Focus only on what brings you joy or inspires. You don't allow other people's opinions to influence you or make you worry about how plausible your desires are. You shouldn't worry about how plausible your desires are, instead just expect everything to work out in your favor. Start imagining your desired end result and practicing gratitude in advance of achieving it. This can provide two benefits. First, it sends a clear message to the universe. Second, it keeps you from becoming dissatisfied with your current life experiences. This is because when you imagine feeling grateful for something you don't yet have, you feel positive regardless of what's actually happening. The more positive you feel, the more likely you are to transmit positive emotional energy and adopt behaviors that move you closer to what you want. Method 2. Practice living in your ideal version of reality. Once you've identified what you want, practice Zealand's second method for redirecting your emotional energy. Live in your ideal version of reality. As previously discussed, your reality is simply a reflection of your emotional frequency. This means that the only way to experience the version of reality that you want is to consistently transmit a frequency that matches what you want. Zealand explains that the most effective way to attune your frequency to what you want is to imagine how you would think, feel, and behave. If you were already living in your ideal version of reality, consider the type of person you'd have to become and how your lifestyle would need to change to fit in with this ideal version of reality. Then practice thinking, feeling, and behaving like this vision of yourself. Now, for example, in your ideal version of reality, your body is sleek and toned. You imagine that you feel proud of your appearance and have adopted specific habits that energize you and help you maintain your figure. Therefore, you choose to focus on feeling proud of your appearance and adopting those specific habits. Now, like Zealand, Maxwell Maltz argues that the more you imagine or practice thinking, feeling, and behaving as if you already have what you want, the more likely your desires are to come true. However, while Zealand claims that this method works by aligning your emotional energy with what you want to experience, Maltz claims that this method works by aligning your self-image with what you want to experience. Maltz explains that your subconscious is the part of your brain that dominates the majority of your unconscious thoughts and emotions from your habitual conscious thoughts and feelings. To create your self-image, your subconscious mind then influences you to think and behave in ways that reflect this self-image, and it actively discourages you from thinking or behaving in ways that are inconsistent with your self-image. Maltz goes so far as to say that your subconscious mind sabotages your conscious attempts to change your habitual thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. For example, if you habitually think that you're out of shape and need to exercise more, you've trained your subconscious mind to include being unfit as part of your self-image. As a result, your subconscious mind influences you to automatically think and act in ways that keep you from exercising. It might influence you to think thoughts that make you feel powerless to adopt a healthier lifestyle, or it might encourage you to remain sedentary. Additionally, it may sabotage any attempt you make to become fitter. For example, influencing you to procrastinate about joining a gym. For this reason, Maltz argues that you can't change your experiences unless you consciously change your self-image and retrain your subconscious mind. He suggests that you can achieve this by regularly visualizing yourself behaving in ways that align with what you want and who you want to be. This is because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It can only react by creating changes in your self-image to what you imagine to be true. According to Maltz, visualizing what you want is the most effective way to overcome the self-sabotaging influence of the parts of your self-image that prevent you from living your ideal life. As such, this practice will train your subconscious mind to become more comfortable with the feeling of who you want to be, which will help you practice living your ideal life. As Z suggests, Method 3, transmit unconditional positive emotional energy. The more you practice living in your ideal version of reality, the more your emotional energy will feed the materialization of what you want. According to Zealand, his third method, transmitting unconditional positive emotional energy, will accelerate this materialization process and help you transition smoothly into your ideal version of reality. Zealand explains that you always choose how to interpret all of your experiences. When you interpret something positively, you transmit positive emotional energy that feeds a positive version of reality. When you interpret something negatively, you transmit negative emotional energy that feeds a negative version of reality. Therefore, choosing to interpret all your experiences positively means only positive versions of reality will be reflected back to you. He suggests that you can train yourself to continually transmit positive emotional energy by focusing on what you want to experience and appreciating all the good things in your life. Like Zelanta Pasricha, the author of The Happiness Equation, argues that you can always choose to feel positive regardless of what's happening in your life. According to him, there's no such thing as a negative experience. It's only your thoughts about your experiences that make you interpret them that way. He claims that you can train yourself to continually feel positive, which will ensure you continually transmit positive emotional energy, by practicing 6 methods. Get active. Exercising for 30 minutes 3 times a week increases your ability to feel positive and reduces symptoms of stress, anxiety, and depression. Do good deeds. Deliberately performing spontaneous acts of kindness makes you feel good about yourself. An added benefit is that others show more appreciation to you too. Switch off. Taking time off from your to-do lists and distractions allows your brain to rest and recharge, giving you more energy to maintain a positive focus. Engage fully. Being fully engaged in your tasks and activities deters distractions because your brain is occupied with accessing all of your knowledge and skills. This makes you feel more positive and also increases your productivity. Practice meditation. Adopting a daily mindfulness ritual such as meditation builds your self-awareness, encourages feelings of compassion towards yourself and others, and decreases feelings of stress and anxiety. Be thankful. Taking time to write about experiences you're thankful for keeps you focused on what you like about your life and how lucky you are. Thank you for joining me on this captivating exploration of the fascinating concept of reality transurfing today. This powerful tool has the incredible potential to revolutionize your life in ways you can't even imagine. Remember, with every passing moment, you hold the power to steer your energy towards the reality you truly desire. The wellspring of this power resides within you. And it all begins with the choices you make. As we bid farewell for now, I have complete faith that you will embark on a journey to incorporate these principles into your everyday existence. May each day present you with an opportunity to put this newfound understanding into practice. And may you witness the remarkable transformations unfolding in your own reality until we meet again. I wish you a day filled with endless joy and an abundance of blissful experiences.